What's up everyone, welcome back to my channel. Firstly, I want to thank everyone who went to go watch my first video. I really appreciate it, and thank you to all my friends who shared it with their friends. It really means a lot to me. I didn't expect it to get as much views, and yeah, I'm really thankful for that. So in this video I'll be telling you about, number one, what you need if you want to become a teacher in South Korea as a South African, and number two, I'm going to talk about my specific EPIK interview questions and how I responded and got the job. So without any further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so I don't know why a lot of people do not comment on this or on my videos or on that one video, but they all comment or they directly talk to me via the inboxes, whatever. But a lot of questions that I've been getting, number one is, how did you do it? So I see a lot of people are interested in what I want to do, and I mean, I believe that everyone, like Somizi always says, like there's a huge pie, or not pie, there's a huge pizza, there's a huge pizza, and everyone can get a slice. Like me being stingy with information of how I got the job is not gonna make me a better teacher. So I believe that sharing information will help. Same way I'm gonna share my EPIK interview questions, because I want people to pause and get the job, because I got the job. So I don't know why people always do this. Like sometimes in their companies there'll be a job opportunity, but he wouldn't, or the person wouldn't tell anyone, as if they're gonna lose their own job. So I don't get why people do that. But I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna tell you and share information. Okay, so there's a lot of requirements, but I'm just gonna do the basic. So number one, you have to be born from the following countries. Okay, Australia, Canada, Ireland, United Kingdom, United States, New Zealand, and South Africa. So these are the only 7 countries that actually do speak English on a daily basis, and it's our national language. So yes, they only recruit from those countries. Number two, you need to have a degree. It doesn't have to be a teaching degree or English degree, but it has to be a degree. So no diplomas, no higher certificates or anything like that. Number three, you need to be between the ages of 21 and 40 years old. Okay. Number four, you need to be mentally fine, physically healthy, like no HIV, no TB, none of that. They're gonna do all those tests. You need to not be an alcoholic or a drug addict. And another one that's very important, really important, you need to be able to commit to a contract, because you go for 1 year. So my contract is a year, but it is renewable every end of the year. So you choose if you want to stay longer or not, but at least minimum 1 year. So you need to be able to stick to the contract. Number four, you shouldn't have dependents. Okay, so you can have children or a little brother that you're taking care of, but you can't be wanting to move with your child or your brother or whatever. So it's just you. They make helping you move. And also, if you have tattoos or piercings, they need to be, if it's your tattoo, then it has to be hidden. So you can't have your tattoo here or here, anywhere where your students can see. It is still considered as a taboo thing in their country, in Asia. So you're not allowed to show your tattoo at any given point, even if you're not even if you're not at school. So even on your free times and weekends, wherever you might bump into a student or a co-worker or a parent, you're not allowed to show your tattoo. So if a tattoo is somewhere where you can't hide, like here, then you pretty much won't get the job. Piercings, they'll probably have to take out all your piercings, which I think is better, because you can always take them off and on. Unlike a tattoo, it's like pretty much permanent. But yeah, I only have these piercings, so that wasn't a problem. Oh, I used to have like a nose and hair, you know, when I was going through that phase. But I closed them a long time ago. So yeah, I just have my earlobes pierced. And lastly, if you are married though, they do place you guys together, but your partner needs to be coming for teaching as well. So it's not like you're going to be a teacher and your partner is just coming along. No, you both need to be going over to teach English. If you're just dating, like boyfriend and girlfriend, they'll try by all means to give you the same city, but no promises. So you might not even get the same area. So yeah, that's about it. As long as you qualify with those minimum requirements, then you'll be considered. And then there's gang applications that you have to do. And you have to have a TESOL or a TOEFL. So it's like a teaching English as a second language to foreign students certificate. So yes, you definitely need that. And yes, that's what you need. And you can go either directly, honestly, which I think I would advise to anyone, or you can use an agency if you were like me and you really didn't know anything. It's really up to you. But yes, those are the requirements. Okay, so I'm going to start with tips when you're doing the interview. Number one, you need to sound energetic and very enthusiastic, because they're trying to see what type of person you are. So you need to sell yourself for like 30 minutes. So you can't now do the interview like, hi, yes, I think I can teach, you know. So you need to like really be energetic, but don't overdo it. Like, don't be someone you're not. Like, I'm generally a very mellow person. Like, this is how I speak. Even in class when I'm teaching currently, I speak like this. So I didn't want to fake it to a point where they think, oh my gosh, she's so energetic, let's give her 3-year-olds. Like, nah, you know. I mean, I think I can teach any age, because my students now vary from like 4 years old to 6 years old. I teach every age group, so I know how to adapt. But even my kids, I teach them like this. I just think people who complain that they didn't get the jobs that they want or the placements that they want is because they faked it. So I didn't get there and like, hi, my name is Palesa, and then now they think I'm this happy person, and not that I'm sad, but you know what I mean. And then they gave me like 2-year-olds or something. So I think they also check your personality, and well, you do have a preference what age group you want to teach, but at the end of the day, it's all up to them how they choose. I don't know. Okay, so number one, remember that. Number two, you need to research about your country, like Korea. You need to know everything about Korea. You need to like their food, their culture, what's right, what's wrong. Like, you need to really know, because they will ask you about it, and you need to show that you're really interested. Okay, number three, you're interviewing for Epik. Epik is also a huge brand on its own. So also go on their website, read what they do, how long they've started, your duty as a teacher. They might ask you anything related to see if you've actually even been to the website, you know. So research about that. And last but not least, number four, which I think is really, really important. Some of the questions are very basic. Like, they could ask you, what are your strengths, or what do you like to do? Then you might go off trail and start talking about, I like going out with my friends, which is okay, but always remember what you're interviewing for. So if you're interviewing to be an English teacher, whatever response you have has to come back to you being a teacher. So if they ask me, what do you like doing for fun? For fun, I like going out and meeting new people, and I think this is a personality trait that will help me as I go to Korea and be a teacher, because I'll mingle with people, you see. So I didn't just say I like going out, I also linked it to what I want to do. Yeah, so just don't forget, every question, it could sound as basic, so please remember you're being interviewed. So they're trying to check if you can speak really well and if you can pronounce your words clearly. So please speak slow, but not like slow like, okay, I want, no, just don't be rambling like I'm doing right now. Don't be like, okay, I want to go to Korea because, just speak slow so they can hear that you can speak. But just remember that you want to be a teacher, so all your responses must come somehow. Not all of them, but try to make it your end goal. You get what I mean? Okay, so now I'm going to talk about my specific questions. I'm not going to be doing a lot of explaining. I'll just ask question as is and my answers. Okay. They're not in any specific order. I don't remember the order they asked me. So I know there's a lot of YouTube videos where you talk about tips on how to pass your interview, types of questions to expect. We all know the questions, but no one really gives you an answer or an idea of how they responded, so it becomes almost pointless. So in this video, I'll tell you my exact responses, and I don't think you can ever copy them. Well, even if you copy, it can never be my exact words because we're doing different things. So yeah, you'll see how I answered. So back story a bit. I'm currently an online English teacher to Asian students. So yeah, I'm going to try by all means to link that into my interview. So I'm talking too much, but yeah, let me get to it. Why Korea? I want to go to Korea, number one, because I love their education system. The fact that they have a co-teacher. I'm currently an online English teacher, and sometimes there is loss of translation between myself and the students. But because it's online, it's easy to Google Translate what I'm trying to say, or maybe find a picture online. But I know, realistically speaking, in class I can't taking out my phone all the time trying to show them what I'm trying to say. So the co-teacher will be with great help to me, and yes, this will help me conduct my classes better because there'll always be someone who can translate for me. Number two, like I said, I'm teaching Asian students, and they always tell me about their beautiful country, cities, and food, and this has really made me keen on why Korea specifically. And yeah, so I'm excited to taste their dishes, the food they eat, as well as seeing the places around. Number three would be K-pop. I'm really into K-pop, especially just BTS specifically. I've been a fan as of recent, so I thought when I looked at Asian countries, Korea spoke to me more because of these three main reasons. Have you ever traveled? Yes, I have traveled a lot within my country. Other countries, I've only been to Lesotho for I think about a month, and I've also traveled to Australia when I was 21. My parents gifted me with a vacation for 3 months to go there, and it was honestly the best experience I've ever had. So, and when I was there, I learned about the different cultures. It was so nice. I didn't even want to come back because I had made so many friends. I think it's because of my personality, and I think this will definitely help me when I go to Korea. How do you deal with being homesick? I don't remember the last time I was homesick, because when I was 14, I actually moved to a boarding school. So I've always lived at school and not with my parents. And I think the first 2 weeks when I was there, I was homesick. I called my mom and she reassured me that I would be fine. And since then, it's never happened, because right after that, I went to university, and now I just graduated, so I barely see my parents in general. So I'm never homesick because I've gotten so used to living without them. I remember even when I was in Australia, they just kept calling me like, do you not miss us? And I think also because when I was in Australia, the time zones were different, so sometimes I'd be up and they would be sleeping, or they'd be sleeping and I'd be up, so I just didn't have time for them. So that really showed that, not that I don't miss them, but I would never get sick to a point where I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm leaving, I need to go home. How do you deal with stress? Okay, I'd like to throw out that myth that stress is inevitable. I don't think that stress is, to me, stress is common, but I don't think too much of it. So I believe that I'm a good planner, number one, so I'll always plan my days. I even know what I'm doing my whole of December. So that has helped me with dealing with stress, because I always focus on what's really the problem and I narrow it down to them, like the root of the problem. So I always check, what can I do to change this? If it's something that I can change, then I do change it. If it's something I can't change, like stressing about exam marks, I've already written the test, so what's the point of me dwelling over that? So I just don't think about it. So I've learned to also figure out what's important, because I think stress is not the action, stress is just the anticipation. So if you actually focus on one thing at a time, so if you deal with today's work thinking, today I'm just gonna wake up, do 1 2 3 and 4, and the next day I'll see what I'll do, then you get less stress, because you're not thinking about what I'm gonna do today, tomorrow, other days. So I have this great ability to stay calm, and in every situation, like my friends always say, like, how are you so calm? And I'm like, what's the point of stressing? Also, another thing, I also write a lot on my journal. I have a journal, so I think that also helps me talk to someone. So yeah, that's how I deal with stress. I'm barely stressed out, because I've figured it out. What would make you a good teacher? Okay, so what would make me a good teacher? Number one is because I myself have been in the students' same shoes. I have been taught the second language, which was Afrikaans, from when I was 10. So I know what a teacher needed to do for us to really truly understand. If a teacher was shouting at us because we didn't understand, it wouldn't make the issue better. But if they really were patient and understood, or patient with us and really explained what we needed to do, then it was better. So I was personally good at Afrikaans. I don't think because I was smart, I just think I had a good teacher. Number two, I'm very kind and understanding. Number three, I'm very open. All my little cousins love me, and I think it's because I have this ability to talk to children and make them feel open. They're actually very open with me, to a point where some of my family members are like, how are they telling you these things? And I'm like, I don't know. So that will also help me become a good teacher, because they'll be able to talk to me outside school related topics. And also, I always wake up now thinking that I'm going to teach, but I always come back with something new that I've learned. So I think another character trait I have is that I'll always be a student. So I'm always willing to learn. As much as I am teaching, I'm always open-minded, and I want to hear what people have to say. And last but not least, I'd say that because I am currently an online teacher, I do have an advantage over people that haven't taught at all, especially teaching Asian students specifically. So I think that will help me become a better teacher when I go to Korea. What will you do if your co-teacher makes a mistake in front of your students? I really respect my co-teacher, because it's going to be a 50-50 thing between her and I, or him and I, to make this work. So if the students aren't aware that it is a mistake, then I don't think it's really necessary for me to point it out, unless she directly asks me for advice. Then I can help her, or maybe I can repeat what she had just said, but in the correct manner. Maybe I can even write a note and call it to the desk, and she can see that it doesn't matter if the students are not worrying about it. Same way as now when I'm teaching, we are provided with lesson plans. Sometimes there are errors, and the company just tell us that if the student doesn't spot the error, I as a teacher shouldn't spot it or point it out, like, okay, this is wrong, don't say this, you just carry on with the lesson. And I think that's what I'll do. There are some students that don't want to learn English. So how will you deal with disruptive students? Well, I currently do have those students online, but online it is easier to switch off their mic, so when they start singing or doing other things, or their camera when they start fidgeting. But if they're drawing too much on the board, you can just take away their pencil. And I understand that that's one of the things that I need to work on when I'm in class, because it's a totally different situation. I can't just make someone keep quiet. What will work for me is not really shouting. I've known that people will often backchat teachers only because their friends are there. So I'll just ask the students to stay behind and ask them what they want to do, depending on also what age group it is. If they're young, like elementary, then I can have like a secret symbol. So ask you, okay, so you see that you've been misbehaving. Next time when you do make a noise, how would you want me to keep you quiet instead of embarrassing you? So we'll come up with a secret symbol. So maybe it's just rubbing your nose or your chin or just pulling your ear. So next time they do talk in class, that's what I do, and they keep quiet. I remember a teacher of ours used to do this with us, and we only found out later in the year that because it was a secret symbol, only you and her knew. You thought it was your secret symbol, but we only figured out that she had the same symbol for 6 people and another for 7 people. So to just teach and do these symbols, and by the end of the day we'd all keep quiet. Another way to deal with disruptive students would be to have the parents, so talk to their parents, write a letter. That always used to scare me. It still scares my brother, and I think it does work when someone is very disruptive. Also, finding their interest is very important. So if you find that a student is not participating in class, find them outside class. So if they like sports, go watch their games or whatever, praise them. And by that time you speak about soccer, whatever interest they have, when they come to your class next time, they're much more behaved because they're interested in you as a teacher. So I think that will help me with dealing with disruptive students. At the end of the day, as much as teachers are all different, students are also different. So I'll try a lot of different methods until I find one that actually helps with that specific student. How do you deal with students being on different levels? Okay, so currently right now I do teach children, sometimes adults that are not on the same level but are in the same class because of their age. And sometimes you can feel the other students, the more advanced students, being frustrated with how slow the other student is. So what I usually do is I challenge the smartest student to explain what I'm trying to say in English to the other students, and you can actually see them trying to figure out, or it's more challenging to them because now they have to think of more English words to try and explain to the other students how you actually do this. So in class, how I would do this, whatever group, make a lot of group activities, so divide them in group of 5s or in pairs, but always make sure that the advanced students is linked with the lower level students, so they always balance. I think when they mix together and they work together, they'll actually find a way to help each other and explain better. Because I've also had moments where I was in a group and I really understood what the teacher wanted us to do, but as soon as we were in a group, then I've had someone ask me like, what must we do? Then I'd quickly explain. So sometimes act like they understand when they don't. So that's how I'd go about it. What do you think of classroom management? I think classroom management is really important because you need to have you need to have a way to manage your class in order to keep all your students quiet, for you to conduct all your classes. So number one, you need to have simple rules because there's no point in making complex rules that no one will understand. In my class, I plan to implement symbols. So 1, maybe if you want to ask a question. 2, if you want to go to the toilet. 3, if you want to sharpen your pencil. And this way I don't disrupt my classes. So if I see someone putting up 3, I know they want to go to the toilet, I just nod and they go, because I only have 45 minutes to teach a class, so that will definitely save me time. Focusing on the good. So I've seen a lot of the time children love praises. So I think when you're managing a classroom of 30 kids, it's pointless when you focus on the bad, like, Mike, stop talking, whoever, stop walking around. Like, I always focus on the good in my classes. So I'll say, Amy, thank you for sitting down. Lucy, Thank you for taking your book out. Then they start doing whatever I'm praising these other students for because they want me to praise them as well. So I think that's definitely also a good way to manage your class, and this is what I plan to do with my students. What have you learned so far about the Korean culture differences? Okay, so the first one that really shocked me was that in my culture, if you don't look someone directly in the eye, it's considered as disrespectful or you're lying about something, because why don't you face me in the eye? Whereas in Korea, it's the exact opposite. When you face someone in the eyes, it's actually considered disrespectful and rude. So that's number one, I know I'm not supposed to do. Number two, I know you don't tip when you go to restaurants. It's completely a no-go area. Number four, I know that they bow to show respect, and they always take off their shoes when they're indoors, even in their workplaces. Even when I go to school, I know as a teacher, I'll have indoor shoes and outdoor shoes. So those are just a few things I have learned about Korea. And also when you visit anyone, you always have to bring a gift. So it could be food, it could be flowers, it could be perfume, it could be anything, but gifts is seen as a good sign of respect. As well as when you get your first paycheck, it would be advisable to buy maybe a box of donuts or sweets for all your co-workers, just as a welcome gift. So I know all of that. What difficulties do you think you'll face when you get to Korea? Number one is learning the language. I know even all the signs around the country are written in Korean. So I've already started learning the language, but I can only read, but I don't know what I'm reading. So I know number one, learning the language is going to be difficult. Number two is the cold weather. I'm from South Africa and our winters are not that cold. I'm a summer baby and I really love hot weather, so I think adjusting to always being cold or being extra cold in winter is something I'm fearful of. And number three, I'd say for me, is adjusting from being an online teacher and staring directly at the camera to now moving my eyes around the whole class of 30 students or more. That's going to be an adjustment I have to face while I go over there. Why Korea over other ESL countries? Okay, so this question kind of threw me off because she already asked why Korea. So I almost messed up, but this is how I responded. I chose Korea specifically because I like the fact that they take their education system really seriously. I know when the final year students, grade 12s, are writing their final exams, airplanes are not even working on the day only because they don't want to distract them. So to me, that really resonates with the type of country, how serious they take education. Number two, I really like fashion, so Korea is very fashion forward, and I think that's something I'll also enjoy during my stay there. And third, compared to other countries, Asian countries, even my students always say that Korean is the easiest language to learn because of how they have just 24 letters in general. It's even less than the 26 alphabets we have. So it would honestly be the easiest language for me to learn. How has your degree prepared you for this job? Okay, so I studied information technology. Even though we did a lot of coding and creating programs, different languages, I still think that this degree has helped me with presentations. We had a lot of presentations, and this has helped me be able to fix my speech and be able to present myself in a huge crowd. So that has really prepared me because I'll be able to speak in front of students. And obviously I'm computer literate, so I'll create lesson plans, PowerPoint presentations with so much ease. I'll doubt I'll ever have a computer issue. If I do, I can fix it myself. So that's how it has prepared me. I'll always be efficient at my job. So this will help me as an English teacher because I'll always plan my lessons and I'll never have a problem with how to plan a lesson or how to upload it or how to show it on the screen. So that will always save me time because I can do everything by myself. And then the last questions are just the normal yes or no. Have you ever taken drugs before? How often do you drink? Do you know how much you need for when they take you, when they accept you, to go that side. So it's a lot of general yes or no. Have you ever been taken to a psychiatrist for your mental health, or do you have medical issues? Just a yes or no. Whether you want to, I hope you're honest here, because if you're not, they still gonna, when you get to Korea, they still gonna do a medical test, and if you fail that, you do come back home at your own expense. So make sure that you're honest. And yeah, that was it. And then she asked me if I had any questions, but she also said that because I went through an agency, that if I have any questions, I should ask my recruiter directly. So all I asked was she a teacher before? And she said yes. And I asked her how long, so we had a mini conversation about that. And number 2, I also asked her as in what tips does she have for a person like me coming over. And she told me about the weather, to really pack jackets, so because people always underestimate how cold Korea gets. And number 3, I just asked her how long it would take for me to know if I made it or not, and she said a couple of days, but I actually found out the next day. So yeah, after that we had a mini conversation. It's not really like a direct interview, like yes or no, like do you have drugs, no, nah, like it's a general conversation. Like there was a point where we were talking about BTS and their music for like 5 minutes because she also listened to it, so it was a nice vibe. Also, don't panic if they don't add you way before time. And I was literally added on the spot. Like as soon as it was like 10:40, they called, or she called. And yeah, I was panicking. I even thought maybe I put the wrong Skype ID on my application. So yeah, don't panic about that, and just be cool. But yeah, once again, thank you for watching. Also, Epik just announced that they have 400 more spots open. So if you still want to apply and want to leave in March, and you have a degree and you pass all the requirements, then apply. What are you waiting for? Maybe you'll meet me at the orientation. But I'm really excited, still waiting for my placement, so that's kind of like nerve-wracking. And if you are going for the spring intake, I'd also say you must go to download the app Kakao Talk and go to Epik Spring Intake 2019. It's like got the best information. Everyone should check it out. It's really had to help me. You meet a lot of people there because we're all going through the same thing, going through the same company for the same job, so we can really relate on a lot of things. But yeah, I'm starting this thing again of talking a lot, so let me not do it. Bye.